Barney's Great Adventure featured a plethora of new and memorable Barneyverse characters, but none quite as iconic as Twinken the Dreammaker. For those unfamiliar with the Criterion Collection-worthy film, the central plot revolves around the arrival of Twinken, a small, koala-shaped alien who is prophesied to fall to Earth on the trail of a comet every 1,000 years for the express purpose of physically visualizing folks' dreams in the hope that they may come true. God, I love BGA. But what exactly is Twinken, aside from being the third in a string of alien characters? Where did he come from, and what's his history? Let's dig into the lore. In the earlier drafts of the BGA script, as written by Stephen White, Twinken wasn't a koala beast at all. He was an alien eagle. Twinken, referred to as simply Baby Bird, who I have tried my best to replicate here, is described as an unearthly, but very cute, bird with large eyes, darkly colored iridescent feathers, and most notably, a jewel-like crystal on his forehead. The eagle depiction comes from White's description of the bird's mother, a radiant, majestic space eagle who bears the same forehead crystal and stands at a startling over 6 feet in height, making her taller than Barney, an Andean condor, and an ostrich. Only the best of cosmic horrors for my purple dinosaur movie. Eagle Twinken, because let's face it, if you've ever seen a baby eagle, you could believe it was an alien, could use his head crystal to create beams of light, which his species use to identify one another, as in this scene where the newly hatched Twinken isn't quite sure of his wishing star-turned-mom. Additionally, their wings produce a dazzling series of light rays that seem to darken as they age, as Twinkens are pastel when compared to his mother's. Instead of the literal dream maker he would later become, early Twinken serves as a charming sort of alien MacGuffin. He's just something for the kids to chase as they fulfill their own dreams on the aforementioned journey, and could have realistically been any baby animal. It's an interesting, and probably more subtle way of conveying what a dream maker character could be, even if the subtlety does come with a side of bird terror. The final Twinken, represented by both an RC animatronic puppet and in delightfully crunchy 90s CGI, is where much of the background lore originates. Upon attempting to research what Twinken is for themselves, the film's characters come across a medieval-style manuscript written in, what is to my best approximation, some kind of pseudo-Latin and Canadian French. The movie was made in Montreal with a Canadian team and is most likely fancy gibberish by the art department, but props to them for getting me to spend a disconcerting amount of time trying to translate this. The egg of a dream maker, as previously stated, falls to Earth every 1,000 years and hatches after each dull ring brightens into full color, provided the egg is in the same spot it landed. We have no information on what would befall Twinken and or life on Earth as we know it if the kids hadn't managed to get the egg back. While the prophecy book itself gives us some interesting insights, Twinken's point of origin actually comes from the back packaging on select Twinken merch, the Land of Nod. Those familiar with the Dutch lullaby, or those who have seen Barney's Rhymetime Rhythm, will see the reference to not only the location, but Twinken's name itself, which is a clear play on the characters of Winken and Blinken. Whether or not Nod is a true land, another planet, or a plane of existence is unclear, but it's a great bit of illuminating trivia. After hatching, Twinken projects visions of the future, sort of like a PowerPoint presentation, except cooler and more existential, so that, in Barney's words, they're more likely to come true after having been visualized. Makes you wonder just how many proto-Twinkens Barney has encountered in his 200 million years to know for sure. As for the physical, Puppet Twinken, we know he was much beloved by his makers, even being promoted to workshop mascot. 3 RC and cable puppets were made and stood at just over a foot. Compare that with Megabird. The puppets were operated by an impressive 28 servo motors. Twinken's cosmic fur was custom 4-way stretch fabric and cost a concerning amount to produce. This, paired with the sheer amount of servos, which tend to wear out quickly, explains why the puppets were unfortunately destroyed within a year after the film's release. For those wondering why Twinken never made a Barney and Friends appearance, I'm sure that had a lot to do with it. Though Twinken was well represented in merch, there were multiple hatching variants, water toys, and games. He dropped off after the film. But in true Dreammaker style, however, a good 20 years later, Twinken appeared in the Mattel mobile game, Mattel Match, in 2025, as a Barney doll-inspired plush, and again in the Barney's World episode, Time to Try, on the cover of Baby Bop's book. It may not have been a 1,000-year gap this time, but Twinken seems to know how to make an entrance. As for the character's future, I can't really see much more for our space marsupial outside of more of the cameos we've had in recent years, unless a potential reboot of the movie or show knew how to work him in a logical way. Even at the movie's release, folks were already positing that a sequel with Twinken seemed on the way, and perhaps someday, even if it isn't a millennium, we'll see the Dreammaker again in a future Barney project. And as always, if you're looking to learn more, don't hesitate to check out my friends at Barney Wiki and Barney History Fans. Thanks for watching.